Yo, what's going on, guys? The Kitty G on Egal Talks Football, and we're back again with another video. Today, we're going to be talking about Stan Kroenke has approved this a potential January signing of Mykhaylo Mudryk. Also, the contract is done, signed, sealed, almost delivered from Arsenal. Not yet announced, but Gabriel Martinelli will be signing a 200K per week contract. Is that too much money? I don't think it is, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section. And also, forget about Tielemans, ladies and gentlemen. Forget about Yuri Tielemans. It seems like Arsenal are going to be getting another midfielder through the door, potentially a World Cup winner, potentially. It's just how much money do you think Brighton are going to be asking for? Because that's a key part in this whole cog. Before we go any further, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. As you guys can see, I got two wonderful guests with me today, and we're gonna. And before we go any further, we gotta do the intro, ladies and gentlemen. I can't cheat you guys on that. Yes, people, we're back. Okay, so let's get the show started. We got Gunnar Souls in the house. We got my guy. I always call you Devil, but your first name's Paul, right?
It's hyphenated. It's Devin. So yeah, we're good.
So what's good, everyone? Everyone in the chat, big up. We got some people already making some bold claims, saying Mykhaylo Mudryk's a waste of money. Do we really want to start there? Really? Come on, guys.
Let's start on the good news, man. Let's start on the good news.
Come on. Yeah, we're gonna get into everything. But how's everyone doing today? How you guys doing? It's weird seeing the Carabao Cup is back right after the World Cup. I was hoping the World Cup would just end and then football would begin right away, but the Carabao Cup is like, it's a good game. It's a good game to watch. But the rest of the games, I didn't watch.
Really good game. It was a really good game to watch, and I like seeing those two teams hit each other hard because I want to see as tired a City as we possibly can get, and that was a rough match for them, but they pulled out. So
For anyone who doesn't know, Man City beat Liverpool in the Carabao Cup. What round was it? Third round? Fourth round?
Fourth round is quarterfinal. No, yes, quarterfinals next.
Hey, you know what? Personally, I don't really care about the Carabao Cup now that we're out of it. Does anybody here care?
I do. I want to win it. I don't. Whether I cared now is different.
I wish it was treated more like a U21s with the teams featuring a couple of starters over and above that. I wish it was more of a youth tournament.
Okay, fair enough. Let's get straight into it though, guys. We got a lot to talk about. Where should we begin besides Martinelli agreeing to a new deal with Arsenal, and reports coming out that the deal will now be around 200K per week. When you guys first heard that and you heard the financials that were coming with this package, were you not thinking to yourself, well, that might be a little bit too much? Or were you just saying to yourself, you know what, it makes sense. One of our best players, one of our most important players in the team, now being basically given what he's worth, in the sense that he's being given 200K, which is on pair with the highest paid player, potentially saying it might be even lower. I heard 180, but right now the reports are coming out that it's 200K per week for Gabriel Martinelli. If you guys don't know, he hasn't yet officially been announced by the Arsenal news or Arsenal page, but at this moment in time, all the rumors are saying that Martinelli has agreed a new deal. And we even heard it from his own mouth. And we heard it from Ben Jacobs the other day. He said Martinelli was always going to sign. He said, just give me the pen. And he meant it. So I'm going to throw it over to you guys as I try to find the article about it. Let me know what you think. I'll start with Gunnar Souls first, bro.
Go ahead, Souls.
Yeah. The thing is, with 200K, this is what people need to understand. The breakdown financially isn't that he's going to be getting 200K base. It's going to be incentivized in some way. It's not going to be, this is what he's getting weekly as a base and there's add-ons incentively. That's the way these deals are, especially with Richard Garlick coming in. He's a lot more competent and smart with the way he structures contracts now. And one of the things that we've gotten spot on over the sort of 3 years that I'd say Arteta's been here is our contract negotiations have gotten far better, bar being Aubameyang. But that's a sort of an exception to the rule. And the rule isn't the exception here. So when you look at the Martinelli deal, a lot of people are going to lose their head saying 200K a week is a lot of money. But you're probably looking at 150K with 50K worth of bonuses, which is what I would more lean towards knowing what Richard Garlick's done in the past as well. And even if you look at the way we sort of structure our transfers, it leads me more to believe this is an incentivized deal in terms of we don't always pay the full amount up front. So to me, he deserves that amount anyway. But also, it kind of shows and puts faith into Arteta that he dismisses everyone who said he doesn't like Martinelli, he doesn't believe in Martinelli or trusts him in the beginning of the season when he actually developed him and took a lot longer to have his return into the squad. Because I remember loads of people saying he's training, why isn't he starting, why isn't he playing games? This kind of dismisses all of that. But what he does, it kind of puts hope back into Arsenal that we're not going to let our players go. And if someone now wants to buy this contract out, it's going to cost them a fortune. It's going to be like 100 million plus to even let this guy go now. And that's the positive thing that I take from it. And in terms of like securing the future of our youth players, it's a top sign to go, do you know what? We're going to value them. And he's earned this contract. He's not just been given it based on 1 or 2 games. He's been given this because of seasons of hard work and dedication. He's played at the top level. He's being touted by every top manager from Jurgen Klopp, Pep Guardiola. Even when you look at Europe, the likes of Barcelona, Real Madrid, PSG, the likes of Bayern Munich have all inquired about this young man. And you know what the most impressive thing is? His story is the reason why I'm not bothered by this amount of money. Give him 400k, give him 500k a week, and I wouldn't flinch. And the reason is because what his statement before the contract was, he said, I don't handle my finances. I leave that to my parents. I just want to play the football. Give me that pen and I'll sign the deal. And that's why you can give this guy £1 million a week and I'll be like, cool. Because financially, he's not incentive. Like, he is, of course, everyone wants to make money, especially when you come from the background that a lot of these Brazilians come from, which is hardworking, very, I'm not going to say poor because I don't like calling people poor, but just a very humble beginning, let's say. And
the
that,
favela
me,
lifestyle is completely different than what most of them.
Yeah, like they've worked for it, so they understand every single penny they make. Forget about every pound they make. They understand the value of the penny. Forget the pound. So when he does this, he's not going to stop working hard. He's going to work even harder because he's like, shit, I'm on 200k a week. I need to earn every penny I'm making. And that's why, to me, I'm fine with what he's getting because mentally, this guy's different. The guy at the age of, 18, had the injury that kept him out for basically a season and a half, comes back and is still one of the best youngsters in world football. That takes such a mental courage. That's why I don't think finances are going to bother this guy at all. And he's going straight to the top. And this is the best way to keep your asset at Arsenal.
There you go. People in the chat, let me know how you guys are feeling. Gunner Souls always gets us hyped. Devil, you got a tough act to follow, man. How you feeling?
That's tough to follow. But I mean, the thing is it's a brilliant signing, and it was when we got him for £6 million. It was a gem of a find for Itueno, and he has just worked his socks off. I mean, he came over here, like you said, had a devastating knee injury after being on top of things. He came in like a gangbuster and then got hurt. So the mentality that it takes to recover from that and then to come back and be a top flight performer, he's worth every penny because, like you said, he's not motivated by the money. He's not driven. He's, like everybody already said, his parents handle his finances and he's in a situation to just focus on football. Plus, I really think wearing the Brazilian kit is going to elevate him to even a higher level. Like, he wants to start over Richarlison in the next World Cup. So I think that he's only motivated to be better. He's only motivated to be stronger. This contract, to me, it stops the sharks from swimming around us at all times. And this isn't a situation where you're overpaying for Kieran Gibbs or Jack Wilshere or or Callum Chambers or the British core. You're literally paying a player that's being, like I said, encircled by Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, PSG, everybody inquiring about, is Martinelli available? Well, the answer is no. So unless you want to cough up 200 million, you're not going to get him from us. And up next, we got to sign the star boy, and we got to sign the best center back in the world. So I think that this is proof that if you come to Arsenal and you perform, our ownership now being a 100% owner, of the club. They're willing to invest, especially in 20-year-olds that we can see them possibly for a decade at the carpet. There's no reason to not pay for Saliba. There's no reason to not pay for Saka, and the Kroenkes are showing you that they're willing to do that.
People are spreading fake news about Martinelli on Twitter, saying he's signed when he hasn't. What? No, it's not people spreading fake news. Martinelli himself said he's going to sign the deal. The people who are actually reporting this are some of the top journalists in the Daily Mail. You got people coming from all sorts of top levels.
If you think Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano are shit talk merchants, then bully for you. But like, honestly,
no, but they're not the only people.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm talking the person in the chat. Like this deal is done. It's going to get announced, and the hope is the fact that we can announce the top 3 of our youth players as done deals, and hopefully do it in a package.
Don't forget, some things people don't even know about. Like Fabrizio Romano and these guys didn't know about Gabriel Martinelli's signing. They just dropped that shit. They just dropped it like it was hot. Like sometimes we don't hear about these deals until they're done and dusted. But you know what? I put the link in the chat. If you guys really want to come on, you can come on and you can challenge our opinions. And big up to every single one of you guys in the chat. We got 41 of you guys in the chat right now. So the reason why the title of the actual thumbnail says 1 down, 2 to go is because Martinelli is one of the 3 that we need to tie down. The next one is Bukayo Saka. I think Bukayo Saka's contract's already sorted out. Guys, I genuinely feel that they're going to do a similar thing to what they did in 2020, where they're going to do a double announcement out of nowhere and just shock everybody. Because Bukayo Saka's deal, we've heard so much about Bukayo Saka's deal. We've heard to the point where they've been saying Bukayo Saka's deal has been done and dusted in the past. So I wouldn't be surprised if on the day that they announce Martinelli, out of nowhere, they do a double announcement and announce Bukayo Saka, because it would shock a lot of people, but at the same time, it wouldn't be out of the norm for what Arsenal have done in the past. Do you guys agree?
Which extension would you rather have first, Egal? Would you rather hear that Saliba's done, or would you rather hear that Saka's done?
Saka, because what's the holdup? We already know Saka's going to sign. Get Saka done. I know Saliba's going to take long because of the fact that he's been loaned out twice already. I know that some of these guys are going to take a lot longer. That's just the reality. Big up Ursan's in the house. Ursan's joined us.
Yeah, what's good? What's good? Sorry about the delay in joining. It's just how's everyone doing?
Everyone's doing good. We got Tommy also, and we got my guy M in the house. Big up everyone in the chat.
Guys,
now,
all right? How are you?
Doing well. Everyone in the chat, everyone here, let me know right now. Since us 3 at the top have already said our takes on Martinelli's new deal, what do you guys think? I'll start with Ursan. Ursan, what do you think about Martinelli's new deal?
How much is it? Is it estimated? Because
estimated 200K per week.
Okay. I think that's bumper, somewhere between 175 and 200K a week with bumper.
That's what I saw as well, according to a lot of newspaper sites. I'm thinking I find it a bit strange, actually. I do understand why they've given him, but 200 grand a week. I find it weird the fact that it's a youngster, 22 years old, just stepped on the scene, that he's earning that amount. But when you look at how important he is for the Gunners, with the goals and assists and the contributions he's making, it makes total sense for him to be earning the same kind of wage as our important players were back then at the Arsenal. You know, I was doing a little bit of research before joining, and we've almost halved our wage bill. So we've been able to afford Martinelli's wages and get new players in the process. So as long as it doesn't affect us signing new players, I think it's a good deal all around together.
Because you've basically taken Aubameyang's salary and put half of it into Martinelli.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think he does deserve that. It's the same with Bukayo Saka. They've been 2 of our most important players, and it puts a lot of players on the scale where actually you stay at Arsenal, they're going to offer you the same amount as other clubs will offer anyways, even more maybe, just for being a bit of loyalty. And I think the deal towards 2027, 5 years of mine, 4 years of mine.
You know what? If Mason Mount is asking for 300K, I'm okay with Martinelli getting 180, 200K.
But do you know one of the biggest things that we're overlooking is Arsenal have sports psychologists in their team now. And one of the things that we now do, even when we're signing players, let alone who we re-sign, is we look at the psychology and the mentality of how a player reacts to losing and winning. And this is why they're now going to entrust these youngsters, because they're not only getting attributes or like statistical data that backs up their findings, but they're now also doing it on a mental level. Because even when you look at the Ben White signing, for example, this is what really opened my eyes up and gone, yeah, this scouting is not just Arteta, spiel that, oh, look at me, how great I am. No, he backed it up when he signed Ben White. And Ben White was actually surprised. He goes, how the hell do you guys know how I react to losses and wins? Because that's the level of extent that they're going to find whether a player is going to be worth a £50 million risk or whether mentally that's going to affect them. And they've done their research on Martinelli. We know Martinelli mentally is probably one of the strongest players we have at the club. And I know people are going to say Bukayo Saka. I'm not disputing other players, but mentally we've seen it from Martinelli. No setback has put him back. He's come back from a long-term injury and looks no different to when he first burst onto the scene.
Better. He looks better.
Yeah.
So it's always going to improve at Arsenal, even with the injury or without. It's always going to improve. You needed game time.
That's why I'm not afraid of like him being like any of our players being offered, because we've rarely got things wrong under this new structure and new backroom staff as a whole. Yeah. So that's one thing I do want to mention, and I don't know whether people want to rebuttal it or.
You know what? Let's just go around the room. Tommy's in the house. Tommy, how you feeling?
I'm all right. Yeah, just looking forward to Christmas. Yeah,
I'm doing well, man. You were one of the people who were worried we were going to lose to Martinelli's and Bukayo Saka's. Hearing Martinelli signing a new deal, you must be excited, my friend.
Yeah, I am. He's important. He's humble. He works hard. He's got a good work rate. The guy he loves to like roast people, like when he was cooking Trent when we beat them 3-2 in October. But yeah, he works hard and he's important, and I'm happy he's got a new contract onto 2027. But I'm happy for him, and the wages, 200K, he deserves it, bro. He deserves the wages because he's earned it for me. He's kept his head down. He's worked hard, so yeah, he deserves the wages for me. And I don't think the wages is too much. I think that his wages are all right. So yeah, but I'm looking forward to club football back. Obviously, good World Cup. Obviously, I'm looking forward to club football back. But yeah, he deserves it, and obviously, yeah, like I said, I watch his interviews. He's such a humble man in soul as well. So yeah, what a player.
What a player. Let's and then finally let's go.
I said what I need to say.
No, I just had to say it because you said the light. Oh, it came on.
Let there be light, brother.
Big up M. M is in the house. People in the chat, let me know what you guys want to talk about. Throw your questions in. Some people talking about Saliba.
Hey, Egal, real quick. I just got to shout her out. This is the most important person in my world. So
hey, big up.
My wife Sharon. So she's my diehard Gooner. So
no, man, congratulations. Congratulations. You got a good one. Anyways, let's get this show continuing. M, what you saying? M, you there, bro?
We got you on mute.
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Yeah.
We saying
talk to me, man. Martinelli signing the thing. Why are you skeptical that he didn't sign it?
Yeah, man, it's good. It's good news that
we lost you again.
Like, I heard that he signed it, then the next minute I heard that he didn't. Like, bro, it's all confusing. But if he did sign the contract, then that's good news. Yeah. I think 200K is a lot for a player. Market is mad. That's the wages that.
Here's the other thing that I wanted to kind of
be paid.
Is he not one of our best players? Doesn't he deserve to be paid that way?
It is what it is, because
if he was a new signing coming from
Italy,
he does, but
he would be on that.
Yeah, if we brought in like a Chiesa or somebody like that, you'd be paying him that money. That's
say you give Martinelli 200K, Saka will be demanding he might fall.
No, but we've already heard Saka's wage amounts that he wants. We heard he wants between 220 to 250. And let's be honest, Bukayo Saka is the best player at this club. Let's give him, if he gets that money, he deserves it. And when it's time to renew Partey's contract, we're going to have to consider if we even want him around the club, if he stays fit or not.
And he'll be 31.
To extend his contract, to be honest. I think with Partey, Partey's 27, 28?
29.
Yeah, exactly. With what Edu said in the summer, if he loses form and he's not playing well, he's hurting the club. So I think Edu's going to be taking that very carefully and then try and work out a replacement for him in mind.
You know what? Everyone keeps talking about this. We're not signing a striker, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get straight into it. We're not signing a striker.
Yeah,
That's
I don't see
the
us. I don't see
that's
us
the
signing a
reality.
striker.
Every time we hear about signings, we hear about other stuff. Saka has nothing compared to Martinelli. Yeah, facts. Saka's gonna get that money too. He's gonna get that money too. Saliba, I'm just hoping he's going to sign a long-term contract now.
Here's
You
the
know
other
what?
thing about Martinelli, and I want to say this real quick. The
Yeah,
reason
before
we're
we go
not
into Saliba and Saka.
the reason we're not signing a striker is because of Gabriel Martinelli. You can play him as a left winger. You can play him as you can play him right down the center. And quite honestly, if we're bringing in Mykhaylo Mudryk to play the left wing, run Gabriel Martinelli as a central striker while Gabriel Jesus is out. He can do it. He can definitely do it.
Yeah.
And he can score goals.
Let's
Yeah,
let's
he
not
can.
move
He
over.
can play up
Let's
front.
not move over to Saka and Saliba full time. Let's be honest. Are you guys starting to get worried? Because I am not worried. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. The only thing that had, even when I heard links to PSG from Saliba, even when I heard about Man City for Bukayo Saka, that doesn't worry me. You want to know why? Because I continuously look at the fact that these guys are playing week in, week out for a team that's currently at the top of the table in the Premier League. We're most likely going to be a Champions League team next season if we continue at this level. And the way things are progressing, these guys are just going to continue to build with a team that is coming of age. And if they were to leave right now, the only places these guys would leave obviously would be the Man Cities and PSGs. But with the Man Cities and PSGs be offering them the same level of development, don't forget, Euros is coming around very soon. You also have a World Cup coming around only in 3.5 years time. So it's like these guys are still very young. Bukayo Saka, what is he? 21.
Yeah,
You
he's
got William
21.
Saliba, 21.
21.
These
Yeah.
guys, it's not this contract we have to worry about.
Martinelli's
It's
all the
next
same
one.
age.
I'm not worried about Saka, to be honest, but I am wary of William Saliba because William Saliba has not gone through what Saka and Martinelli have, where they've been involved in the club for all that time, where we've been in the dumps and they've gained their experience. With Saliba, we've loaned him out for 3 times,
Like
so
3 times,
Saliba
yeah.
is always going to be evaluating his options. If PSG were a club to come in for him, I think Saliba would likely leave. I think, in my opinion, because it's likely that if the Frenchman would want to go and be near his hometown at a side that are likely to win the Champions League in the next 2 years, playing alongside the best players. But if a Premier League club was to come in for him, no. I think Saliba would stay put at Arsenal. I think Saliba would be happy with the project. I think Saka, I think that's near enough done. I think it's just conversations. I think it's been mutually agreed. Same with Martinelli. I think this what's been said has been mutually agreed. But now we need to get the contract signed, and now I think we're very close.
Let's also be real. They're not going to announce a contract extension in 2022. They're going to announce it on January, whatever, first year of the new calendar year, the new business year.
Yeah.
So they're not going to announce a new contract that rolls over until it's a new calendar year. These deals are done. Like I honestly believe, and my connections that I have told me that the 2 main deals that we're talking about are done. Saliba is the one that you need to look at with a little bit of hesitancy. But then again, there are only 3 clubs in the world that can honestly afford him. We're not going to do business with Barcelona, so that's not one. It's Real Madrid, it's Bayern Munich, and it's Man City. And we're not going to sell him to Man City. PSG. So there's 4. We're not going to sell we're not going to sell to Man City. Bayern Munich aren't going to be in for him. And quite honestly, like it could be Real Madrid or it could be PSG. Those are really the only 2 clubs that you need to worry about with Saliba.
No, I understand that. Like, I think it's more down to the fact that he's one of the best defenders in the world right now, especially in the league where he's come out 6 months in. He's been outstanding, key player in so many aspects of our game alongside Gabriel. And Gabriel also signed a long-term contract as well, which is brilliant for us.
Someone asked update because Mikel Arteta gave us an update. William Saliba will be there tomorrow. Hopefully, he'll be back.
Yeah, he's expected to be in training, so that's brilliant.
William Saliba is going to be back in training tomorrow. Well, we see. Let's be honest, guys. William Saliba, he's gone from all these different clubs, and every club he's gone to, it almost seems like he didn't want to leave and come back to Arsenal. But now that he's here, do you guys think it's just that's the kind of person he is?
real quick. One was his
No,
boyhood.
you know what, man? You man are waffling so much on these loan moves. I'm gonna say it now. You can come back and absolutely rip me apart. That's fine. I don't think he's ever had a problem with the loan moves.
What do you mean?
I don't think he's ever
One was
been
his boyhood
bothered
club.
by. I don't, because you know what it is, right? There's a difference in
He should not
this Arsenal. Do you know if
be
this
loaned
happened
out in the
under
first
Wenger,
place
I would-
anyway, Gunnar Solskjaer.
No,
He should not be.
Right. Okay, I'll finish it, and then you guys can, like I said, you can, because I've not made the point yet. If this was under any other regime, I'd agree with every single one of you that the loan moves would have been detrimental. But the way that we communicate as a club now, and especially with Arteta's connections with the players, and we've clearly seen this because all the players seem to praise his man management skills, bar one player who was a disgruntled ex-employee anyway. But when you look at Saliba, even in his interviews, a lot of people took it out of context. They took what they wanted to hear. Of course, he's frustrated being out on loan. He wanted to prove himself at Arsenal. But Arteta did, after all of those sort of interviews came out, spoke to Saliba and gave him the reassurances he needed. Do you really think William Saliba would be playing for us right now if he didn't want to? That's the
No, he'd be in Marseille. He would have stayed.
exactly.
He would have forced to move to Marseille.
He would have pushed for another loan move
Marseille,
if he
man.
had to. So
we-
my thing is, I'll be honest with you, I'm alone on this, and I don't really care. He will 110%. I don't doubt it one bit. He will sign a new contract.
And real quick, to tap on what Sols was just saying, the first loan move that we sent was right after we purchased him, and we sent him back to his boyhood club. The second move,
That was
we
always
used-
anyways.
the second move that we sent him out was so that he could get Champions League experience when we were down. He played at Marseille. He played every match for them. So literally, like, the two loans that we sent him out were because we couldn't guarantee him football because we had players that were already in his position that we were ultimately looking to move on from. So the loan moves that he's done, one was originally right after signing him. So those happened. Anyways, those happened. But the other two, like, I can understand why that would seemingly create some frustration, but he played week in and week out. And he played at a high level for Marseille.
But
This was not a Guendouzi move where we were trying to get rid of.
That second loan move came because he became an orphan. We forget these things. But mentally, for a player to be away from the club, especially look at the toxicity within this fan base. I'm calling the fan base out on this one. The reason why they loaned him out for his own mental health, because he lost both his parents in the space of 8 months. The fan base was so fucking unforgiving. Yet to every single player, you make one mistake and they're sending you death threats.
No, that's
so
true.
I am not surprised by the moves at all because they protected Saliba. The reason why Saliba is as good as he is, and this is something someone in his circle needs to explain to him, if this is because if his head's going too big, someone needs to explain those loan moves are the reason he's this good.
No, I hear that. I think the loan move was brilliant for him to just recalculate his brain, like just to sort out how he's feeling. Because there was a lot of stuff behind the scenes that Arteta didn't agree with Saliba, with the likes of Guendouzi, and I think the loan move did is just give him it enabled him to man up a bit in a different environment. And what we're seeing from him is a mature player with full of composure defending. He's getting compared to the likes of Rio Ferdinand, Virgil van Dijk, the young Van Dijk, and we're seeing a talent where he's gonna be wanting the serious amount of money. We're willing to afford it. I am confident he will stay, but it's just the biggest of clubs.
Souls, you said something right. You said something right.
To refuse.
Souls, you said something right. He lost both of his parents to COVID in the span of 7 months.
Yeah, 7 months.
And he wanted desperately to go back to France after his mother passed to be with his father. So and we're talking about a 19-year-old kid.
You know what? The craziest thing is, guys, the William Saliba saga, until he signs that contract, it will be forever just rolling and rolling and rolling.
It will be.
But let me bring in Abs quickly in here. Abs, how's it going, bro? We've been talking about Martinelli's contract. We've been talking about Bukayo Saka's contract. We've been talking about Saliba's contract, and we also got Sydney here. You got anything to say on that before we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, so I think Saka and Martinelli, hopefully they'll be kind of signed down. But I think the big thing is for me is with the Saliba, it kind of reminds me of the Arsenal of the old, where we take a while to pin these players down to a contract, and then what happens is one of the major forces in Europe comes in and it questions, he questions the ambition of the club. So I think with Saliba, one of the things this season we will show where we end up, and I think that will define where he makes his next move. To be honest.
Okay, Sydney, what you saying? I don't know
Yeah.
why you left, but big up. Sydney, what you saying?
Yeah. Hi guys. For me, pretty much when you're talking about Saliba is just he came to Arsenal at 18, 19, something like that,
Yeah.
and he lost both parents. So I can understand why, and I think most fans like someone will talk about how fans react to certain things, which to me is very annoying. These kids are young; they're not 25, 26. This is 18, 19, getting into the mature stage. No manager, not even the best manager as Klopp or Pep, would play a 19-year-old or an 18-year-old at centre back, not even in the midfield or the forward. Not really. None of them will do that. Now, Arteta, for me, the very first time I knew Arteta knew what he was doing was his speech when he got hired first. And he started with the culture of the team, bringing everybody together, both the fans and everybody together. You could see this was not someone who was there to play or trying to win something. He was trying to build the club back to what it was. So for me, Saliba's going on loan was the best thing that could happen for him. One, he had to be with his family after the COVID situation. Two, for his mental state and also physical as well. He came back a better person. Now, if I'm Saliba, Arsenal is not going to. We're not dropping out of top four. We either win the league or finish top four. That's pretty much what's going to happen this season. So why on earth will I
You
go to
didn't
a
even
different
get
club?
there, bro. You're jumping the gun. My guy's
No.
talking about we're either gonna win the league or finish outside of top four. What?
No, he said
Yeah.
we're going to finish
No,
top
we're
four.
Finish in the
finish
top four.
outside top four. That's
Oh,
what he
I
said.
don't know why I heard outside. I was tripping.
No. We're
Because your
gonna finish in
brain
the
is
top
your
four.
brain is warped into that Arsenal thinking of not making it.
My
So,
my aim's to
yeah.
So
So you're either
you gotta log into StreamYard with an actual account instead of whatever you were using prior.
yeah. So you're either winning the league or you're finishing top four.
if I
So
wanna
why
win
on
the
earth would you
league-
go to a different club?
No.
So if
Listen.
he was going to go to a different club, the question is what club is he going to? Real Madrid, he's not going to get a starting race.
He's not gonna
Barcelona, no.
Bavardio's cheaper.
PSG, no. There's no club that's going to give him that enough play time or make him a star player like Arsenal is right now. No young player at the moment wants to go to any other club other than Arsenal. You can ask right now. I'm 100% sure any young player right now watching what Arsenal is doing would say, yes, I want to go there. So
I
why
think-
would he want to go somewhere else?
Sorry to interject. I think obviously from a young player, you look at Arsenal, you're going to get playing time. But the problem is that's just one aspect of a player's decision because obviously it's multifaceted and they've got to consider many things. And look, I'm an Arsenal, we're all Arsenal fans here. We love it. But at the end of the day, there's a certain prestige, there's a certain history that comes with the likes of Barcelona, your Real Madrid. Also, on top of that, you add on something like culture, taxes, so on and so forth. Yeah, England's great, but the weather's crap. You get taxed a lot. So it's not a simple case of just playing time. Footballers factor in many things.
Yeah. So everything you mentioned there, I can tell you why Arsenal is still better. You get a better wage packet, that's for sure. You talk about culture.
I hate when we
Culture
start
is better. No, but that's a fact. So when you look at it, if you're talking about wage packet, Arsenal can offer you better. Real Madrid, Barcelona, and then okay, let's talk about history now. Real Madrid and
better than
Barcelona.
Real Madrid for younger players. Yes.
Yeah, but Barcelona couldn't
Real
pay their
Madrid
players.
and Barcelona want
No,
to play.
thank you very much. You just said that Barcelona could even pay their players. So that's one. Then two,
Players this season.
Barcelona.
You know
Yeah,
what?
but
Forget about
Barcelona.
Barcelona. I honestly, guys, I don't want to worry about these guys. I don't think we have anything to worry about. Can we move on to more pressing matters?
Yeah, sure.
Because today I'm hearing a lot of stuff going on. First of all, the Arteta interview. Did you guys hear about that? Did you guys watch the Arteta interview?
I saw bits and pieces on YouTube where
Yeah,
Carragher
it was interesting.
I personally think there were some interesting points in the interview, especially where he spoke about his previous pragmatic approaches to football and how he approached some of the things in the past. Like just some touching points that he spoke about that I think you guys might find interesting. When speaking, he spoke about Saliba's development. He spoke about shifting Ben White to right back, and it was also seen as Saliba it was seen as part of the plan in Saliba's in the long run. So when signing Ben White, they knew that he could play in that position. Also, he spoke about the timeline and the phases in how they're planning and what phase they're in the plans. He also spoke about the culture that he's trying to build at the club, the relationship he has with the players. He spoke about the center backs and how he likes them partnered and how he likes the center backs to play. Speaking more in depth about Gabriel Magalhaes. He also spoke about his job and how he's a quick learner, everything around his job. And one thing specifically that I found interesting, he spoke about why he had a pragmatic approach to when he first came to Arsenal to what he's doing now and how he changed the way that he plays throughout the time. And I think it's a really good watch. Everyone should go watch it. And I just wanted to touch on that quickly. If you guys have any talking points on that
Yeah,
interview,
yeah.
we can we
So
can we can go by it quickly.
yeah, so Egal, here's the thing for me from that interview. There's one thing he said which was quite interesting, and I hope every other person I've watched it to kind of understand when I say this guy is one of the smartest, intelligent men you can see right now. He said a thing about coaching at the age of 28 or something like that, and Pep called him at the age of 30, and he's like, yeah, I'm still playing. He's like, no, when I come to England, you're going to be my assistant coach. He wasn't banking on that, and then he gets in, and then he will spoke on how it was a little bit difficult for him to talk to players, but players made it easy for him based on how he reported to them, respected them, and they respected him as well, and was able to coach them. Now you look at certain things he said, like for example, look at the way
You
we
also see
played.
the part where he said every time I came when Pep played an English side in the Champions League, he would
Hmm.
call me and ask me how do they play, what do you think their weaknesses and strengths are. That's crazy.
Exactly. That should tell you that Pep already knows that this guy has the level to kind of understand the game. So if you're seeing if Pep is talking to him at that time, and we're getting him right now as a manager, god damn it, like I don't know what else is going to look like in the next 3 4 years. It's going to be crazy, and we can see it right now. Even to the point where he said, even I think Carragher was asking him how we at the beginning we were playing counter attack with Aubameyang, and he goes, "Yes, at the time I needed to do that for it to work, but moving forward, that's not what I want to do, so I had to change it." And you
Yeah.
could see like it's one thing when managers come out. To me, I kind of like what he said, but at the same time, I'm like, don't give away your secret too much. Like you don't need to tell everybody
No,
what
but
you
you
do.
know
Like
the crazy
it's not
thing
too
is,
good.
you know the crazy thing is, guys, Pep is Arteta's idol as a midfielder growing up at
Hmm.
Barcelona and as a
Yeah.
manager
Yep.
being his assistant coach at Man City. This
If
guy
you
has literally been his idol his whole career. And you know the messed up thing is, Gunnar Souls, I think you pointed this out a couple streams ago when we were talking about this a long time ago, when we were talking about his new contract. People are always obsessed with what he's doing now, but they're forgetting the potential that this guy has as a manager. I'm not sure if I'm quoting you but I want to get what
Do you know, I want to premise, right? Everything he said, I'm not trying to, smoke my own ass here, but I said this 2 seasons ago and everyone grilled me. I said what Arteta's doing is the future of football, and I've been saying it. You're entering the Arteta era. This is where football changes forever. And the same way when Wenger came in, he revolutionized Premier League football. Arteta's not going to do that for the league. He's going to revolutionize football as a whole. Because what you're seeing in front of your own eyes is one of the greatest tacticians the game will ever see. And put that stamp right now. And I've said this 2 years ago when he wasn't great, when people didn't see his greatness. And I'm going to say it now because the way he understands how to change games in the most craziest of ways. Like, look at
Yeah.
that Wolves comeback. Who would have ever thought going into like this gun ho sort of three mashup of a 3-2-5, whatever weird, bizarre thing he was doing, was going to go and change the game to a lot more control. So,
Yeah.
one thing I will always say his IQ, just on even on a footballing, but just as a human intelligent level, I want this guy IQ tested because I can guarantee you he'll be borderline genius level because his not only is his man management and his
Oh
ability
wait.
to speak to people like on a scale that I've never seen before, his ability to just play football and understand the game steps before you can see it. You can see he's one of those. I want to say this in the nicest way. I don't mean in a but he's definitely on the scale. He's definitely on a
savant, the
spectrum.
savant of the game. If you
Yeah.
you talk about this
He's
in
on
other
a mental spectrum. I'm telling you, this
yeah.
guy, the obsessive level of OCD and like sort of detail, attention to detail is crazy. Like
Yeah.
the thing is, this is why I said the biggest mistake Arsenal can do is let this guy go. He is the future.
I'm just gonna say this: a Chelsea fan, a guy that I don't even, I don't come to him for Arsenal stuff, tweeted out unprovoked. Every single person I have ever spoken to who come in contact with Mikel Arteta or works at the Arsenal Football Club mentions and heaps the praises of how much this guy is amazing. And it just goes to show you the people who are around him 24/7, always heaping his praise. It's not because they're sucking him off as people on Twitter.
Yeah.
Would say. It's because this guy is literally showing them on a daily basis behind the scenes what he's capable of and how much he knows. And some people need to realize that all these people heaping praise are not heaping praise for no reason. They don't just heap praise for no reason on
I think,
anyone.
I think with Arteta, I think
right. I was going to say
it's not even an arrogance. He's Catalonian.
No. What I'm saying is people have made the claim that Arteta's arrogant, but you know what it is, right? He's such a no. But what my point is this, right? I don't agree with it because he brought in a 25-year-old Carlos Cuesta who's had a brilliant CV to do sort of the sports psychology and player development and the one-on-one training because he realizes that's a skill set he doesn't really obtain to the level he wants it to be for the club.
Yeah.
So the arrogance, like the whole thing of he's got an ego, he's got arrogance, he can't game manage and all of this sort of stuff. He's realized he needed to bring Mykhaylo over because one part of his game is not understanding set pieces to the level he wants to understand it. So he brought in a guy who's so specialist and oriented in set pieces, right, to throwing, to every little facet of the game because he's that obsessed with every inch of the game. So
Perfection.
The arrogance is just a stupid point people make.
I have a quick question for everyone because we all, if I put it in the chat too, and everybody that's in the chat, everybody here watched All or Nothing, right?
Yeah.
If you watched All or Nothing and aren't a supporter of Arteta, there's no saving you. Like literally, like if you can watch the way that he not only praised, but he also reamed players when they weren't playing well.
Yeah.
And managed to keep the heads and keep the young kids in line. Like, and back to what you were saying, Souls, like here in the NBA, like they talk about LeBron and Kobe seeing the pass before it's made or seeing the play before it's run. That's what Arteta is. And I don't think it's on the scale. I just think he's a savant. I think he can predict things and see things before they happen, coming from, from Pep style, but also too, like growing up in an era of Xavi and Iniesta and seeing those players play ahead of him and him not make the Spanish club because he had those kind of type players ahead of him. I have to think that Mikel Arteta is a blessing at Arsenal. And if you can watch All or Nothing and not see that we were overreactionary to a bad team in the first 2 years of his time here, there's no saving you.
I think you there. I'm gonna bring Abs in. Before I bring Abs in, people in the chat, hit that like button. We got 66 of you guys in the chat, and it's not going up because you guys aren't hitting the like button. Hit that like button. It's absolutely free. And you know what? I'm gonna change the poll question to something else. But I'm gonna change the poll question to McAllister or Tielemans. But before we get on to any of those other topics, Abs, take it away.
Yeah, so I just want to kind of temper expectations a little bit as well. And I think before people say I'm Arteta out or whatever, stuff like that, for me, it's never been just solely about Arteta. It's about Arsenal. I'm fortunate to see about, 4 managers before Arteta. We had George Graham, we had Bruce Rioch, and we had Arsene Wenger. Now, look, so far it looks so good, but there's also a fine line as well. Because at the end of the day, we saw how Wenger came in '96, revolutionized English football. The landscape of English football completely changed. He went down to a real granular level. He looked at diets and so on and so forth. But at the same time, with Wenger, we saw a point where he stagnated and he couldn't see the vision no more and further beyond that. And sometimes there is a fine line. So, for example, we've got Pep Guardiola, who we know tactically brilliant, looks at all the nuances, fantastic. But let me give you a prime example, and it's just an isolated example. He went into that Champions League final against Chelsea and he didn't play a holding midfielder. He overthought it, and that cost him big time. So I'm saying, great, Arteta at the moment. I think, and I agree with Gunnar when he said, if we got rid of Arteta, it would have been probably a big mistake. I agree with that, but at the same time, I think we need to temper our expectations. In terms of his intelligence, very high IQ, seems fantastic. But at the same time, I always say this: look, if we can turn on Wenger, then there's any match, then
okay, there's a huge difference between Wenger and Arteta, and this is the differentiation I want to make. Now, like I said in my point as well, Arteta looks at the things he's not good at. So when you I get it, he can overthink things, and he has done it. Like for example, the United game is a perfect example of him kind of galaxy braining certain things, and the substitutions he made no sense. But one thing that we do as a club is we analyze games a lot better than we've ever done before. Wenger never never made these changes on a backroom level where he got the support he needed to be able to advance the game. You know, Arteta's come in, obviously, after Unai Emery, saw that, you know, our scouting department isn't where it needs to be to the modern game, and that he can't scout every player. So he's brought in a whole new system to Arsenal that's going to allow him to keep up with the game, understand the stats he needs to get the right profile of players. Because we haven't signed names. We've signed players that fit a certain profile and do a certain job.
Yeah.
Like, even when he talks about the Ben White going to right back, I said this. I said Tomiyasu was never the right back signing for the long term. He was always meant to be a centre back. Obviously, in this case, it's going to be Saliba or whoever it ends up being. But Ben White was never the centre back we signed. And these are the differences between Wenger, because Wenger was easy to stagnate because he never changed the way he played. He never changed the way he operated. Whereas with Arteta's brought people in to make sure we keep developing on that level.
I think with Wenger, we're looking, and for me, I'm going to have to disagree with that point, because I think we came at different time periods. And also with Arteta at the moment, we've only seen early stages of it. He's been at Arsenal for 3 years. So it's way too early to say if he's going to stagnate. Wenger was revolutionary in every aspect. He had David Dean, who backed him to the absolute hill. So I'm not saying look, at the moment what Arteta is doing is brilliant. I just don't want us as fans to get overly carried away, because all it takes is a few bad. Because I mean, 2 years ago, what was everyone saying? Arteta out. Let's get rid of him.
You know what, guys? Because I didn't get to touch on a lot of things that I want to touch on, that we're gonna go over time, not a problem. But let's go to Tommy. Tommy was Arteta out for a long time. He's now he's now backing the team and backing everybody. But Tommy, what do you think of the interview? Tommy, you there?
He's on mute, bro.
He's on mute. I know. Okay, Tommy.
There we go.
There we go. Go ahead.
Maybe not. Yes, no.
I didn't watch the I didn't watch the interview, innit? I'm gonna rewatch it tomorrow.
Okay, no worries.
I didn't watch the interview with him and
not a problem, bro.
He gave a shout out to
Jamie Carragher. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow.
He
no
said
worries,
you weren't
guys.
a believer, but now you are a believer, apparently.
I'm just gonna move on. So there's two topics. Which one should we touch on first? Dan Kroenke approving Mudryk, or forget about Tielemans? Because I think forget about Tielemans has more legs. We are 4 days away from our Premier League being back and playing West Ham. We are 8 days? 9 days away from the from the new year, in the January transfer window opening, and we're still hearing about signings left, right, center. But one thing we are possibly going to be happy about and not worrying about is Stan Kroenke, because reports are coming up that he's approved, that Arsenal are going to go ahead and spend money in January. He's approved that Arsenal are going to go ahead and strengthen in January, and rumors have it that the Kroenkes are going to back Arsenal in January to go get what needs to be done to help us in this quest to get a title. What needs to be done to help us strengthen this attack, and maybe just step away from the financial situation and more or less just look at the footballing side of things and say, you know what, we need this right now.
And what I've been told and what I've heard is that the number is somewhere between 75 and 80 million that's available. If that's the case, that's Mudryk and some other central midfielder.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Originally, I was hearing 50, but I think Cedric being sold, if he's sold for anything more than 15 million, that just goes into whatever money we're gonna sell. We're gonna buy Mudryk.
You're not gonna sell Cedric for 15. That's not possible. Single digit.
Obviously, I'm egging it on a little bit. Cedric most likely will go for 5.
There's an obligation to buy in it from Fulham.
The
only thing that's stopping Cedric leaving Arsenal is the wage bill. Is the fact that he wants an extra wage. I don't think Arsenal will end up selling Cedric for any more than 5 million. In all honesty, I think the fact that we've got an obligation to buy is that we're waiting on the long game for Cedric.
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, I don't see Cedric leaving this January. The reason is because one, Tomiyasu has injuries. Hold on, he has injuries. Ben White is on that right back, and at the moment, you don't want to stifle your position, especially with the squad right now. So Cedric still has a role to play. So if you're going to let Cedric
even fit, will he play?
He's only played 10 games in competition, in all competitions bar the friendlies this season.
But you have to. But remember, there's a lot of games coming up in the second half of the season, though.
Yeah, we've only played 14. It's not like we're at 19 like we normally would be.
Exactly. So there's a lot of games coming in back and forth. So you have to factor in the fact that players are going to get injured. Players are going to be worn out. Players are going to be dying out. So he can't. If you listen to what he said in the interview, he needs squad depth. You can't just let. I don't see Cedric leaving if they're not bringing someone else to replace him temporarily for the meantime.
Okay,
is that not? Is that? I know he's a left back.
I'm just going to stop everyone here, and I'm just going to remind you guys what David Ornstein said when asked about Mykhaylo Mudryk, because this money is going to be spent regardless.
He is Arsenal's priority target for this transfer window, and a number of people with knowledge of the situation feel that there's a very good chance it will happen.
So with that being said,
he's a priority signing, Mudryk. To be fair, like
yeah, but
all the rumors have been going on. Is all
everybody is saying it's so close. Everyone is saying it's so close. When people are saying stuff like it's so close, it makes me feel like this deal is pretty much like a step away. This deal is so close to the point where
Egal,
it's so close because the window's not open yet. The window.
How much do you think he was going to go for?
54.
I think he's going for between 50 to 60 million. That's what Ben Jacobs told us.
54.
Okay, and then we're saying we have a budget of about how much? 80 to 90?
70 to 80.
70 to 80. Okay.
15 million left if everything goes right.
Yeah, so to me, so 50 million to 60, that's fine for him. And I don't think we're paying the full money immediately. Then you talk about bringing the likes of what's his name? Because right now I heard Mudryk. I also heard, but Felix was more of like a loan with an obligation to buy. And and for the midfielders, I think they're taking a chill pill on that, except for Tielemans, from what I understood.
We're gonna talk about Tielemans in a bit. Forget about him for now.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say this. Everyone in the chat, do me a favor. Stop whatever you're doing. Hit that like button right now. It's absolutely free.
Yeah, hit the like. Show some love.
I'm going to ask everyone here. Who thinks we are not going to sign Mykhaylo Mudryk come the end of the January window? Because I think we are going to sign him. I think Gunnar Solskjaer thinks you're going to sign him. I don't know if Ersan thinks you're going to sign him.
No, we will sign him. He's our main priority signing. Like, and he wants to come. So what's the only thing that's stopping it? Is
in terms of transfers, we've been down this road before where we've heard things are over the line. It's nearly there. Ornstein has always been a mouthpiece for Arsenal. I'm not going to say it's 100%. I'd probably say about 75%, 80% there, because like I said, I've seen it way too many times where, oh yeah, he's turned up to the training ground, he's going to sign the papers, and then the deal doesn't happen. So yeah, I think it's likely, highly likely, but I wouldn't say it's a guarantee.
Okay, Tommy, what are you saying? Mykhaylo Mudryk. You think it's gonna happen? You don't think it's gonna happen? Do you think he's good enough to keep the title race?
Yeah, I hope it happens. Yeah, but Mudryk, like signing him for me, it's not enough for me, man. If we're signing him, then for me we're gonna finish second. If we sign one player, for me we're gonna finish second because we need more. Okay, so I want to win the league.
Who would you sign?
I want to win the league, but if we don't sign any more players and then we just sign him, then
we're
gonna finish second. Simple as.
No, who would you sign?
We're not. Yeah. We're not going to win the league with Eddie Nketiah. Which hopefully we can get him.
Win the league. 1 second.
Hopefully we can
1 second.
Get him in it, but I'm not sure yet, man.
1 second. 1 second. Give you the keys. Realistic second signing. Who is it?
It's not enough for me.
He's not listening.
He's not listening to you. You got to give him a name.
Tom, you're not listening, bro. Give us a name. Who would you sign? A second player. Okay, he's out of it. He's out of it. He's out of it. He's lost it.
I mean,
He's got.
I'm
He's
listening.
gonna stop
I'm
buying.
listening.
He's gonna stop buying phones from Wish, man.
Yo, Tom, you there?
I'm listening, man.
Who would
Listen
you sign?
listen to the
who's the
words that
second
are coming
player?
out of my mouth. Provide us with another
I'm
player
listening,
who you
man.
think Arsenal should sign to get us over the hump to win the league. Who would it be? The delay is mad. The delay is mad. The delay is crazy.
Back to you in the studio.
Okay, yo, the delay
I'll
is crazy.
I want him. He's mustard. I want him.
Who?
Bro, are you under the water? Or
I
something?
want Valovic, and I want
Ivanovic.
No, Vlahovic from Juventus. basically.
Vlahovic. Oh, that's it.
I
And
want
you
him.
really want to destroy the locker room because you're going to put a Serbian in with Granit Xhaka.
Yeah, he's not coming, man. I don't see Vlahovic coming.
Yeah, it's-
I'm not gonna
Serbian,
lie.
yeah.
This is the most. This is the funniest thing ever. Yo, Tommy, I don't know what's going
No.
on. with the
This is
audio.
what I want, bro. I want
I think
him.
why in Benzema.
This is what-
Yo, Tommy, I gotta take you out, bro. The audio, the delay is so
But
bad. I can't
wanna
even
win the league.
Tommy, you're on that.
It's like a
You're
news
on that-
I wanna win
broadcast.
the
You wait
league,
2 minutes for an
bro.
answer.
I don't-
Tommy, you're on
We
that.
all want to
you're-
win the league, bro. We all want to
Tommy,
win
you're on
the
that.
league.
You're on that McDonald's Wi-Fi, Tommy, man.
We all want to win the league. Yo, Tommy, the connection is
Nando's
so
Wi-Fi.
bad today. Just speak to us through the chat. Speak to us through the chat.
So there's the thing. I don't know why people feel like nobody wants to win the league. Like I want Arsenal to win the league. Like I remember from day one, I said game by game. But saying that if we sign only Mudryk, we're going to be second. I don't think that's possible. And people tend to fail to understand something. There is something about the team right now and Arteta that people fail to see or understand. Because for some reason now, Jesus is injured. We're going to lose the league. I'm like, you're forgetting it was because of Eddie we were able to maintain fifth last season. People fail to understand that.
No,
Eddie's
but
goals,
people
brothers.
don't care about that. They're gonna say you're celebrating failure. They're gonna. I already know what
But-
they're gonna come up with.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. But that's the thing. We can't keep.
I just put it in the chat, guys, and I want to ask y'all. Like, we've mentioned a whole bunch of names, but the one player on this team we don't have cover for is Martin Odegaard. If Martin Odegaard goes down,
What?
who's our cover?
Vieira.
I mean, come on,
Nah,
man.
different.
Vieira's the
Different.
cover
No.
for Odegaard.
Vieira's different. No. He's not.
Vieira is
not
different.
What Odegaard does. It's
Martin
different.
Odegaard is the leader of this club.
Yes, but here's the thing.
He's
All
one of
right,
the
the
leaders.
thing is, no. What happens is if you lose Odegaard, you lose the tempo and control of games. Vieira, as good as he is in different aspects, he doesn't offer you
He's
that.
not there yet. He's not there yet.
Exactly. That's why
He's not
that's
there
why
yet.
Paul's making the point of like we
He's not
don't
there.
have that cover. Yeah.
That's a
Okay.
fair point, actually. I've
I'm
not
just
never
gonna-
thought of
I'm
it
just
like
gonna-
that. It's actually a fair
I'm
point.
just gonna show you guys this. We got Gabriel Jesus progressing. Did you guys hear any news on Jesus? He's in London Coney. He's progressing. It's good news.
The new projection is end of February.
End
like-
of February.
Yeah.
So I was speaking to someone who's who does like sort of sport physio and stuff, and he goes, injuries like this require just basically a lot of controlled blood flow to the knee. So the aspect of like him walking and stuff is just going to focus a lot of the recovery to the knee. That's why you're going to see pictures like this and him coming to training and stuff like that. The recovery process is very strange for knee injuries because
False. Did they ever say what the injury was? They never told us in America what the injury, like it wasn't an MCL, it's not an ACL, it's not a meniscus. It's what is it?
no.
I
So
don't think
he
they
had it. I
specified
don't
it.
know what the injury is, but he
I
had it
thought
from
was
Man
an
City.
ACL.
But what they needed to do, he meant to get surgery. So even technically this season, he's been playing with an issue.
Yeah.
But the problem was they just didn't know whether they needed to do surgery or whether it'd be worth doing it. And they realized that actually we need to do it, but I've forgotten what it is.
So that sounds
Is
like
it-
a meniscus
it's-
because an
from my-
MCL
from my-
would be a terrible tear.
From my understanding, it's identical to what Shaka had, but is less of a complication than Shaka. Shaka was worse. So ideally,
It's like a rupture.
so ideally he should be back. He should be back sooner than Shaka was. So let's see. Hopefully he's back. But the thing is, for me, I feel like Eddie is. People shouldn't. And this is the thing. Ever since Arteta has taken over, I try not to write off players because you don't know what exactly those players can do. Eddie, to me, I understand where people say he's not up to Jesus' levels and all that. But that's the thing. Give him that opportunity to do that. We didn't give. I don't think I remember when we signed Ramsey, I was like, really, Ramsey? Okay, we'll see how it goes. And look at him right now. He's something else. I saw a tweet. I don't know if you guys saw this about what's his name? This goalkeeper that we let go, Emile Martinez, right? The guy, someone put on Instagram. He said there's a reason why Arteta didn't want someone like this again in the team.
Because he's a
And
clown.
yeah, he's a clown. But that's the thing.
No, that's too banter, bro. He's not a clown.
No, he's an idiot.
Nah, he's an idiot, man. He's an absolute idiot. There's banter.
He's irrelevant to Arsenal now, man.
There's banter, and then there's shithousery, as they say. But then there's that next level where you become utterly disrespectful towards your opponent. That's where he goes. And that's the problem. He was
there's a reason why you did it, but that's the thing that people won't research.
No, it's not. Sorry, man. I'm sorry, but I don't think there's a reason.
There is no good reason for that. There's absolutely no good reason for that.
There's a reason why he did what you did.
The thing is, you can't isolate to one thing. He's been like that for a very long time.
Okay, wait, sorry. What is the okay? What was the reason, please? What was the reason?
So Mbappe came out and said South America can't compete with Europe on a footballing level. So he basically just disrespected the minute.
And this is someone that, if I'm not mistaken, Mbappe scored him 4 good times in the game.
It doesn't matter. They still lost. They're going to give it back. And if you're going to disrespect a whole continent and say you can't compete with Europe, then you're going to get it, man. It's football. I don't understand why people hate this sort of shithouse room football.
It's like the sort of thing in boxing, but in football, it's la-di-da. Like, it is what it is. Like, personally, Emile Martinez, I've got a lot of respect for him because he won Arsenal the FA Cup. He was so pivotal in Arsenal winning the FA Cup, and we let him go. We got a good bit of money for him. He's now at Aston Villa. Let him do his thing. Like,
let me ask you a question then. Let me flip that to you. Yeah, you say you respect Emile Martinez. You helped us win the FA Cup. What's your thoughts on Aubameyang then?
Bro, same thing. Like, I'm not that
Arsenal, but
he's joined Chelsea. He's done his thing. What we ended up doing, we shushed him on the pitch. We made him sit down like that, and then when we play Aston Villa
with Emile Martinez,
we made Martinez sit down a couple times too. Don't forget. But guys, we got another topic to talk about. Quick changeover. ESR. He has another setback, but he's close to returning. Unfortunate news that we got today from Mikel Arteta in his press conference. When speaking about Gabriel Jesus, he gave us an update on ESR. It's not good, but in the long run, it's better for him that we take it slow, as my guy Devo has more information on this. If you can take it away.
His setback was that he failed a physical test. Like, that's the thing. It's not an injury. He's got a problem with his groin that is hereditary. Like, the thing that people don't understand is that had he not had the surgery that he had, he would have ripped the groin off of his bone, like, and would have been out who knows how long. Now, what I've understood and what I've heard is that he's not available even to do a subs run, and Arteta considers a subs run 30 minutes. So if he's not available to do that, that means he didn't fail the physical, or he's not injured. He just didn't pass his physical exam in order to be available for the 18. That doesn't mean that he's out. It doesn't mean that he's continued to be out. He's just not ready. And he's another one of those players that we need to take time. We need to. He's so young, and he's performed at every level. We sent him out to Red Bull Leipzig. He performed. We've had him here. He performed. He's another guy that, like, when he comes back and he's banging in goals, he can run straight through the middle. He can be your cover for Odegaard. He's like, don't rush this kid back. Don't.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. Do not rush him.
I agree. Like, with Emile Smith Rowe, he's been one of our most underrated players. When we signed him a new contract, there was always going to be a long-term plan in project for him. And then the first thing, when I saw that he was getting surgery, I was actually a little bit relieved inside, where I was like, you know what? Yes, he actually has time to recover, to focus on his rehab, so that he can come back better than ever. Like, he was always meant to be back by this time. In early January, anyways. So for me, I'm not at all surprised that Emile Smith Rowe is in training, that he's working on a few things. Now it's about, give him in a week of training, then bring him back in, whether it's playing for the under 20,
you know what the best,
and then playing him in the FA Cup. I think.
If I tell you he's starting matches for us in the Europa League, are you okay with it?
You know what the comparison reminds me of? this is the same conversations we had when Martinelli was out and when he came back and he was training, right? So the thing is, right, one thing that we always say, and Martinelli was a rush back and everyone was crying like, oh, Arteta doesn't like him, Arteta hates him, he's got an agenda against him, whatever. The thing is, right, certain players, when they come back from an injury, they're not the same player immediately. So what happens is you've got to kind of retrain them. You've got to refocus them because with injuries, mentally, players don't like. Look at Van Dijk now. That injury ACLs can ruin you mentally, and I'm not blaming him for this, but you can see his defending capabilities to go in the way he used to go in. He's not doing it because he's mentally scared that something's going to happen again, and that's what's going to happen with it's that mental barrier that you have to overcome. They're doing it in the training phases rather than the match phases now. So
let's move on though. Let's talk about midfielders. Forget about Tielemans, guys. Forget about Tielemans. Let's go after this guy.
Oh, McAllister.
Yeah.
You know what? I was thinking about him, and I'm thinking
The most Scottish-looking Argentinian in the history of the world.
Yeah,
he's Irish.
He's
Irish, by the way.
That is even more.
No, he's a mix of Scottish and Irish. That's where
his dad was in the Argentina team with Maradona, man.
Yeah.
I think we need to focus on a DM, to be perfectly honest. Like, I think McAllister would be an exciting signing, and I'll be over the moon if we could get this guy through the moon. But we know for a fact that Chelsea are probably working on a deal trying to get him for like 75 million, knowing the fact that they got half of the backroom staff from Brighton and Graham Potter in there as well. And
I've heard they want Caicedo.
Who would you rather get?
Caicedo is their
Yeah, I would like to see Caicedo personally.
If you had a choice between these three,
I can't lie. I think, as much as I want McAllister and Tielemans, I think we need a DM to cover Partey.
But that DM is not going to happen this January. It's going to happen in summer.
For me, I think a lot of people jump on this bandwagon and follow the absolute myth and the absolute nonsense they see. They did it with Darwin Núñez in the summer. Arsenal fans did it. This whole thing, this concept of Tielemans being lazy is just nonsense, okay? I don't think we need a DM. I think we need a box-to-box. I think we need a box-to-box midfielder, and that's what we need. Because, you got Xhaka goes a little bit more advanced now. We got Partey. We've got, El Nene as a squad player, as a DM. I think we need a box-to-box to cover when, let's just say, Partey's injured as usual. Xhaka suspended. I think Tielemans, proven Premier League, got the experience, good in attack, got that passing range, can link that defense to attack.
Rumor is he wants hella money. That was why it didn't get done in the summer. Not only does Leicester still want 20 million for a player on 6 months left on a contract, rumor is he wants to be one of the highest paid players.
Brighton want 80 million now. Brighton want 80 million for McAllister.
Yeah, of course they
I'm
want.
not surprised about. I'm not surprised.
He just raised his stock at the World Cup, and he just won the World Cup. So he's not going to be cheap. And then obviously either one of them, Caicedo or McAllister, it's going to be very difficult to price away.
Caicedo raised his stock also at the World Cup. Don't forget, this was a guy who was playing for Ecuador.
Yeah,
exactly. So this is what I'm saying. Their stock's going to be raised. Like with Tielemans, let's be real. Like I know
he flopped at the World Cup.
The whole team.
They all done all right.
But the thing is, with Tielemans, there's no way. I think Leicester are going to realise that, you know what, we're going to have to cut our losses. And I think we can get him as little as 10 mil.
10 mil?
Yeah.
They said 20.
My question to everyone
they've said 20.
One second. My question to everyone here, and I'll start with my guy. I'll start with my guy. What do you call it? Gunnar Souls. Does he move the needle? Does Tielemans move the needle?
With this a new Granit Xhaka that we found, I don't know who this guy is. Yeah, this man is playing possessed, and I don't think he does. I'm talking about this version of Xhaka. I'm not talking about the past version. I'm talking this season. Do you know what it is? I'm going to be honest, I don't want neither one of these names. But if you guys want to sign, then cool. I've got a name I want, but...
Who?
Who is that?
I want Enzo Fernandez.
Out, bro.
Man, the guy that's been rolling on.
Bro, you're crazy, bro. You think we're going to spend
125 million release clause?
Wait, sorry, who do you want again?
Enzo Fernandez.
That's a baller.
My man's going freaking 3D on us. What?
Yeah,
they don't want 150 million. They want like 90 to 100 million. It's calm.
Bro, you realize Benfica
release clause 125 million
are going to flip him for a ridiculous price.
I'm telling you, man, this guy is the future of DMs.
But to be fair, no team, no matter who you are, it's the market.
Enzo Fernandez is gonna cost too much money, bro. There's no way.
It's not gonna happen. It's not realistic. It's
real
not
quick.
realistic.
21.
Hey, guys,
It's not realistic
21 years
target.
old.
Nah,
It's not
Devo, chill with the Locatelli stuff, bro. Please.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling
Chill
you,
with
bro.
Locatelli.
Juventus is about to get raided, and we need to be there. We need to be into it.
No,
I like
listen,
Locatelli as well. I
listen,
can't lie.
we have to have pride as a club, and we cannot allow ourselves to go and get dissed by players and
Who
then
wants
come
that
back.
dusty player, man? Give me some Enzo Fernandez, bro. Come on now. Future. He is the future
Bro,
midfielder
I
of
don't want
world
the
football.
Eduardo Hagen lookalike at the club, man. Allow him.
That's it, Eduardo Hagen.
Nah, we don't. Locatelli, like his season at Juventus,
Yeah,
And
Chelsea
also-
good game against us. Locatelli.
and then also like Egal's just said, like, do we want to really? We're Arsenal Football Club, man. We're Arsenal
Yeah.
Football Club.
Then
We are
Are
not.
you gonna put? Do you want Vlahovic?
Who me?
No, Devo. Would you
Bro,
take
I've already
Vlahovic?
told you a Serbian and Xhaka aren't going to work together. Like Milinkovic
Yeah,
Savic.
It's not. It's not.
I
Okay.
want Chiesa. If I'm taking anybody from Juventus, I want
Oh,
Chiesa.
bro, we're not getting
let me ask you
not
guys
in
a
this
question.
window. No way.
Let me ask you guys a question.
Coming
Let
back
me
to
ask
the
you guys-
injury,
let me
when
ask
they
you
go
guys a
into
serious
administration
question
and
right now.
relegation,
Let me ask
those
you
are the
guys a
players I
serious
would
question right now. Serious question. Do we
Yeah,
even
brother.
sign a midfielder?
Yes,
What in January?
I don't think we'll sign. I don't think we'll go through.
we have to absolutely have to sign a midfielder. I mean,
Well,
you'll be
it depends when you're talking about January or you're talking summer.
Yeah, someone more likely.
No, I'm talking about in January because
Oh, hell
we're
no.
getting linked to
I don't see it.
we're getting linked to so many players. And when I
It's
asked
gonna
Ben,
be a dead thing. It'll be a dead thing. Like nothing that does
let me
anything.
let me. This is the first time since 2006, yeah, that we are realistically close to the title. So for us to reinforce in one position,
not 2015.
Yeah,
that
I
was
think
more
we was
realistic
there in
with
February.
Leicester.
We
Like,
was
2015 was not as close.
yeah,
what-
2008.
I remember because I was
I think
at
2008.
2006, you know, the whole kind of St. Andrews, all that malarkey that what happened, you know, Eduardo broke his leg and it all went a bit Pete Tong. If we're going to sign like just one player, then I'm sorry, that's a massive oversight because there's half the season left. We need to reinforce in midfield. I think like we need a box-to-box midfielder. That's what we need.
So this is what I see for the January window. I think we're gonna sign 2 players. Worst case scenario, 3. So
What?
Mudryk is 1.
One second, Sydney. Tommy, you are smoking bush if you think we're going to sign Milinkovic Savic, Fernandez, and all these guys. Name
2
two.
Serbs.
That's a career mode save right there. With
Yeah,
those
that's like 700 million right there. And
My
like,
guy's playing football manager.
Bro, yeah, I was
with
about
his-
to say he's playing too much football manager, man.
He's playing football manager with the sugar daddy unlocked. That's what he's doing.
I do like Lamptey, but Lamptey's good.
Realistically, with the budget we have and the positions we require, if we're saying 50 to 60 for Mudryk, and then we're saying maybe 10 to 15 for Tielemans, that's both positions covered, and that's reinforced the team. And that could probably give us the push that we need. But if we go for one player, it's going to be wow. I just think
I don't.
the
Yeah, I don't think.
the only other option in that scenario is Danilo. And
Danilo's not happening.
I know it's not
Listen,
happening, but he's in that
Danilo-
range.
Why?
Danilo has
What
already.
happened to that transfer?
Danilo is already going to either Ajax or Monaco. It's done.
Oh, what you do
He's
all
going
day?
to one of those 2 clubs. It's done. Arsenal, the moment they put out a message saying he was never part of our plans, that just means another club signed him and we're backing away.
No.
So when did they say that?
David Ornstein said that Danilo was never Arsenal's actual target. So when he said something like that,
Hey, it's
means
Declan
that
Rice or Fernandez, man. I'm telling you.
Bro,
Declan Rice.
if
Wait,
we,
hold on, boys.
if
These
we
are-
actually go into the Declan Rice bidding war, that means we're gonna spend all our budget in summer on
Bro,
Declan Rice.
we're
I
in
have
a
one name.
different
That's a
things
one
of
player,
of this thing now. We need these big time ballers.
I got one for you, and he's a former kid that we had, and I know you hate me mentioning
Can I say it?
Ismail Benacer.
Yeah, he's a baller.
Oh,
I like
yeah.
him. He's talented.
I don't think there's anything to it. I think Arteta and him just hugged after the game, and it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
I'll
like I
back it
said.
up, to be honest, no matter who we sign, yeah, even if we was to sign a
appreciate it.
midfielder and a striker, let's say Mudryk, for example, I think it will get us as close to City as it gets. but I still think City will win it personally.
Call me crazy. Haaland always gets an injury throughout the season. I'm not hoping for him to get injured. He's in my fantasy team. Hopefully he does well for them.
He's in
But
every-
Julian Alvarez right behind him, bro. Like,
There you go.
it doesn't mean
go.
shit. Alvarez coming in from Haaland is two different types of players. You have to change the style.
It's
of
better
play.
when you
have
have
to change the way
Alvarez.
that you play.
For City, it's better to have Alvarez in there.
yeah, Alvarez
I haven't
is a
seen
monster.
it.
Worse,
City
bro,
won the league
so
with
much more
95
depth. I'm being honest with you. It's so
Listen,
much more
I
devastating
personally
for City
think
to have Alvarez.
City should be starting Alvarez, Foden, and Haaland up front three. That should be their front three. But they're never going to start Haaland and Alvarez together, even though it should be the front three when you really think about the way they play. But
Yeah, this is what I think. I know we're
we're
gonna
not,
sign
we're not
key
here to
players.
help City, are we? We're here to help ourselves.
Yeah.
So Haaland gets injured. I genuinely believe it changes their whole game. And right now, the way they play, their whole game is built around having a forward that is a clinical finisher. I get it that my guy, you're gonna mention him, Julian Alvarez. He's good. I get it. He's good. He's up there. He's a top talent. But at this moment in time, he does not have nowhere near the finishing ability of a Haaland. Haaland's able to get a ball
Bro.
that's being flung in from nowhere, and he just swings his body to the side and does the madness. That's what he does.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
There are
but
two
bro, they don't
names.
need
If
that.
you
They
guys-
don't need that. But let's not make
There
it
are
a City
two-
convo. Go on.
No, this isn't.
Yeah,
a
word.
There are
What'd you say,
literally-
Paul?
there are literally two names that I've seen us linked with, and it goes back to the striker situation. That's Thuram and Ndidi from Frankfurt. The two
Let's
French.
talk about Thuram.
Oh, and Dicker, the centre back.
Let's
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
Thuram.
The
though.
center
That's
back.
that's
That's
a
a
summer
summer
thing,
one,
isn't it?
isn't it?
Let's talk about Thuram. This is the thing. Thuram, what's his name? Ferran Torres, all these other guys are secondary, tertiary, fourth options to Mykhaylo Mudryk. Mykhaylo Mudryk is the one and only main option. They view this
Ferran
guy.
Torres.
Ferran Torres is a
Ferran
bad ball
Torres.
signing.
I don't think
Ferran
That's
Torres
a
at
bad
Barcelona.
ball
Fernando Torres. Ferran Torres.
Ferran Torres. No, I don't want Arsenal.
No,
I don't want
it's
Arsenal
a
near
bad
Ferran
boy
Torres.
signing. I'm more
Ferran
behind that.
Torres, Spanish
I take
attacking
Ferran Torres,
midfielder.
man.
I'd rather
Barcelona
Sane.
City,
I'd rather Sane on that
Barcelona.
midfielders.
Yeah. So
Ferran.
right now, this seems to be what Arsenal want. They want wingers that can either play across the front three, and the only striker actually that's linked to Arsenal is technically that guy Marcus Thuram.
Thuram,
You
yeah,
know,
I don't want him,
this is gonna spark such a debate, right? And,
He doesn't score enough goals for me.
Devon's already answered this, but you know the way that we're going in for Mudryk, I'm telling you, it's finally fucking gonna happen. Gabriel Martinelli is gonna be our striker. Finally. I've waited 3 years for Arteta to do this.
What
Here's the
makes
thing, though.
you guys excited about Martinelli as a striker? Why would we change from? Because it's been so successful with him playing left wing. Why
Bro,
would
he's a
we?
Because he
striker.
doesn't have
He's
the
a
passing
striker,
vision.
bro.
He doesn't have the vision of a winger's passing ability. Like when he plays
Yeah.
on the wing, I feel like he's more of an inside forward who scores. And
He's a
he
cut
does
in.
things. And when he goes on the outside,
The reality is he
gets his
is the
assists.
striker.
Majority of his assists are similar to Kolasinac's assists, where they're cutbacks.
I'm gonna hold my
No,
breath with
you
him.
know what it is? The reality of how we play.
Yeah.
No,
He is the
Ab, what are you
striker.
saying?
Gabriel
Ab, what are you
Jesus
saying?
is the
I'm
winger.
gonna hold my breath with him playing up front, because if you recall, for a very long period of time, we had a very good Chilean that played on the left wing for Arsenal, and then we had an injury to Giroud, and everyone thought naturally that transition for him to go up front down the middle would work, and it was hit and miss with Alexis, man. Like it was really hit and miss. He's dynamic. He's got great finishing, but it was so hit and miss when he went down the middle. So I think with Martinelli, he's still young. He hasn't spent enough time playing up front or through the middle. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's no correlation to say straight away he's going to go into the middle and this is going to be successful.
Yeah,
Because
I don't.
It'll be a huge success.
bro, that's
I
I think that's negligent to
to
say
me-
that, because
I will put every neck on the line of mine, and I will say he'd be a
Oh, I don't
super
hear him,
striker.
Okay, here's the thing now. For me, I don't think Martinelli is going to hit the limits, the heights on being center forward. He did start from there. He was scoring goals, yes. But moving forward, I don't think Mudryk coming in makes it automatic. Oh yeah, you're playing the central role.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Because
I
Mudryk
hope
coming
they-
in, Mudryk coming in is more of like an option. Like I said, there's multiple games. You need to have.
Yeah.
You don't need a drop in your squad. If I'm taking Martinelli up, I'm bringing Mudryk in. If I'm taking Saka up, I'm bringing somebody else as good as Saka in, not a downgrade. That's the idea. And I know some people say, what about Smith Rowe? Smith Rowe, for me, I see him as a Shaka replacement, not
Shaka.
a Shaka. Yeah, he's going to be Shaka's replacement in that number 8 role. That's where Smith Rowe is going to come in. He's going to be playing that role,
You know what?
or a false 9 role. That's where
Yeah,
Smith Rowe's
I
going to come
think
in.
false 9.
Big
That's
up,
the way.
big up.
Well,
Big up,
naturally,
big up.
he's a number 10 and he carries the ball with him. So like he's the one that gets us through transition. So I don't know if he'll play that deep with Emile Smith Rowe.
Well, I have a
Yeah.
Do
question.
you think he would be a good Erdegaard replacement if Erdegaard was to get injured? I think Smith Rowe's best game, like I think he is attacking in the middle, but he's so versatile where he can use both feet as well that he can dictate.
But he doesn't. He can't set
My
the tempo.
only
He can't
issue
set
with
the
him
tempo like
His
Odegaard.
passing,
he
his
would be
passing's
able
a
to.
bit. No, but
Yeah,
his
his
passing's
passing
a
all
bit.
of you.
Dribbling and passing is very good.
Here's a
No,
question
wait,
for all
no,
of
his
us.
passing. His
We all
passing.
agree. We all agree
You know
that
what? I'm just
Harry
gonna say
Kane.
this,
Hold
guys.
on a second, Egal. Hold on a second. We all agree that Harry Kane is the striker for Tottenham, right? That's undeniable. But the leading striker for Brazil in this past World Cup was Richarlison. So, are you going to tell me that would you rather have Richarlison or Martinelli? I'd rather have Martinelli, and I think Martinelli is
Yeah, of
more
course.
versatile as a player. And Richarlison just scored some bangers at this World Cup as a front line forward. He's never going to play front line forward as long as Harry Kane is at Tottenham. So, like, the comparisons and saying that he can't do it, I literally just watched Richarlison do what everybody said he couldn't
But
do.
I
at the
think-
World
I think
No,
you can't.
I'm not saying he's not going to be able to
Jonathan's
do it.
always been a striker.
I don't
That's
think
the
you
thing.
can simplify it by saying right, Richarlison's playing up front. So if he's good at it, then definitely Martinelli. It's never that. I don't think it's never that simplistic. You got different set of players. You got different set of traits. You got a different style of play. You got different managers managing them. So if if you say Richarlison's going to be successful up front, then automatically that correlates to Martinelli going to be great up front. Football's never like that. If you've played football, you'll know it's never like that.
I get that. I'm just
What?
saying, as a player, I think Martinelli is a better, more
There's some
versatile.
craziness going
but-
on in the chat.
Yeah, but
Turn
also
my head.
one more
lost
thing
Smith Rowe,
though.
man, I can't lie.
Remember what
Sorry, it's better
Martinelli
than
said. He said he
Mudryk.
prepares to play on the wing though.
No,
Martinelli said it himself. He
No, no.
prepares to play on the wing than in the center.
no,
But whichever
Martinelli,
case,
you know what it is?
Pardon?
Martinelli is a head-down winger who doesn't look up for the pass. He's a strike-first kind of player, and that's why I say his best position is playing down the middle. And also, even if you look at it with the Gabriel Jesus signing, Gabriel Jesus isn't the striker in the system. It's Martinelli.
Guys, let me
But
say
he
something
plays down.
crazy. Let me say something crazy. Eddie Nketiah is still going to start, and
Mhm.
He will. Exactly. He's still
when
going to start.
Mykhaylo
He's going to be the
Mudryk-
main
when
man for us.
Mykhaylo, everyone talks about Jesus being injured. We're going to see ESR false 9. We're not seeing ESR false 9 unless it's an emergency. When it comes to Gabriel Martinelli starting, yes, he might actually get to start.
Title hopes are done. I'll say that for now.
1 second. Martinelli might actually start up top some games. We might see it.
Not all.
But it'll be
Yeah.
when we need to experiment during a game when we're already up. That's what it's
You've
going to
got
happen.
you've got to remember in that box, Martinelli, Jesus, and Eddie Nketiah. Like I said, Eddie Nketiah for me is like whatever. Positionally, he's the best of 3. Eddie Nketiah. He's positionally in that box. He's the best of the 3.
Why are we signing
I agree.
Mudryk? Why are we signing Mudryk? Maybe Gabriel Martinelli is being pushed into that position. But
No.
for now,
I don't see it.
no, Mudryk has nothing to do with Martinelli. Trust me. It's more. It's okay. Let me ask you this: it's like saying if we were to sign Rafinha, are you trying to say Saka's being pushed to the middle?
no,
No.
Saka
No,
would be playing on the
100%
left.
no.
Saka
I
would
agree
be
with
playing
that.
on the left.
Exactly.
I agree with what you're saying.
Saka would play on the left.
Saka is not a middle player. That's the difference.
But that's the thing.
Look, Mudryk
Saka
is
can
versatile.
play left wing.
Saka is better than Rafinha. Rafinha would have actually sat on the bench or been brought in to play on the right, and Bukayo Saka to play on the left. One or the other. I don't see nobody coming in world football besides some of the greats of the greats that are currently in this game coming in and displacing Bukayo Saka from his team.
No,
So
of course
with
not.
Mudryk
I don't see that
is-
with Martinelli either.
it's
I don't
it's
think
the
Martinelli's
multitude.
going to be shoehorn at striker because we're
With-
signing.
No, it's not shoehorning.
One second,
Bro,
let Abs jump
When
in.
it, if it
So
happens, yeah,
with
then
the
you're-
multitude of things, all right? Okay, you're never going to buy a player. Just change a whole system and say, right, all right, we're going to chuck Eddie and Ketty on the bench. We're going to put Martinelli up front. Mudryk comes straight in. It's not as simple as that. Mudryk can play on the left wing, right wing, and he play up front. Yeah, you've got Martinelli who can again play on the left wing. You know, he can play up front. I don't think it's a simple case of that. It's we're adding to the squad because we need to add to the squad because people might
Squad depth.
squad depth. Players get injured.
Squad
B,
quality.
it gives us different options. It gives you a different dynamics. It gives you a different setup to the formation you're going to adapt, play to during the game. We're playing more games in the season as well. So it's not a simple case of Eddie Kenyon's going to get dropped to the bench straight away. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think like you said, Egal, I think you're going to see Nketiah get his opportunity up front, and then we'll see how it goes from there.
Yeah,
But even that opportunity up front
exactly what you
is
said.
3
though.
games.
We shoehorn, but
Guys,
I got- I gotta go.
I gotta go. This has been great. Honestly, we need to do a preview before the game. We'll catch up on Sunday if you guys are about before the game, hopefully. And for now, I bid you guys adieu. Just to let you guys know, once again, Mykhaylo Mudryk to Arsenal is close. Martinelli signing a 200K per week contract is close, and it will be done and announced very soon.
Smash that like button.
Forget about Tielemans, because it seems like there's other midfield targets that are about that we might be looking at, and also that contract is amazing. Let's just see.
Let's just get it wrapped up by Arsenal then. When we hit the here we go.
Smash that like button.
Everyone, make sure every Arsenal fan in the world donates £100, we get a higher transfer budget. So let's put that towards Arsenal. Let's get who we need, people.
Yeah.
Shout out everyone.
Anyways, you guys have yourselves a wonderful day. I'm out of here, people. Peace.
Big up everybody.